What y'all? I mean, what y'all thoughts about that hiring, Frank Reich?
Jay?
Um, it's a first of all, it's a terrible hire. Uh, Real quick. Second of all, it's no different, right? You got a girl and she's in an abusive relationship, and then she break up with her boyfriend, and you come in there with your cape on and tell her how pretty she is, and take her out to dinner and movies and all that. Then she get a whole new boyfriend. She don't even choose you. That's what Mr. Wilks feel like right now.
He had his lawyers made some comments, but then it seemed like Wilkes came out and kind of like gave a more politically correct
No, no,
response
no,
and
no, no.
everything.
Wilks did what he said. What he had to say because now he has to find a job. Uh,
True,
Did
true.
they not keep him on as like because he was what coach was he before the interim? They just let him go completely?
he was
Yeah,
the coordinator. Yeah, they was like he will not be returning. They put that
Oh,
out
that's
yesterday.
crazy. Can't even go back to the role that he was in beforehand.
I would try to get on with one of the division rivals, and I would bless their head twice a year. Uh, but moreover, like every time a coach gets hired in the NFL, we have to have the same conversation of how the disparity in ethnic coaches, no matter how qualified they are. This is no different. I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked at all. I do find it funny that guys who have got fired or relieved of their duty mid-season because they were horrible at their job are now finding new roles all across the NFL.
what we call it, Jay? We call it filling ahead, filling
Filling
forward,
up, yeah, yeah, filling
filling up.
forward, yeah.
You
But
fell
this was
forward, fell ahead, fell up, all that stuff, man.
but this was
I mean,
also a legacy hire too, because he played quarterback for the Panthers back in the day.
Frank Reich, yeah, for like 3 seconds, he was known for Buffalo backing up Jim Kelly and having that comeback victory against the Oilers in the playoffs.
he
That's
was never that guy. Like let's be clear.
no, no,
Let's
no,
be
no,
clear.
no, no,
Like
no,
uh, he just wasn't.
no. He wasn't. What up, Dano?
What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, hey, he got his Panther hat on, man. I'm glad you jumped in as a Panther fan on this topic, man. You like the hire, or do you feel disrespected? I mean, I know as a black man, you probably feel one way about it, but Frank Wright, he might have the magic touch which I needed, but I thought Wilkes had that as well. So I mean, how you feel about the hire?
So at first, I'm sitting here, I'm thinking it's BS, straight up, it's BS. You know what I'm saying? This guy took a down and out team. We was projected to be number 1 and 2 in the draft beginning of the season. Get rid of Matt Rule. He comes in. We finish the season 6-6. Not only it's not a normal 6-6 though. We were in a run to make the playoffs, win the division. You know what I mean? It was a lot of
Right.
big things happening. So it was surprising to me, but it wasn't because about 2 weeks ago we hired his Frank Reich's daughter on the media staff. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, well that's my answer before they even go mainstream with it. But
When did Frank Wright get fired?
from
About
Indy, and I don't even think he finished the
He got
season.
fired week because
about week
I want to
7,
say
somewhere.
nah. I think it was a little bit later than that because Jeff Saturday didn't even do like
Yo,
10
come on,
games.
Lamar. Wait, why you said that, Lamar? He said he got replaced by ESPN commentator.
But
They
right.
did.
I
He
mean,
ain't
so
lying.
I have to sit and think. I'm like, man, Steve Wilks from Charlotte, that'd be perfect. The team rallied behind them. They bought into his system, and why wouldn't we keep him? But then, as I was telling Chris yesterday, I'm like, man, the more I sit and think about it, Frank Reich is not a bad move neither. First
Yeah,
quarterback in our franchise. You know what I'm saying? He has records with us as far as first touchdown for us and stuff like that. He's part of the community as well. You know what I mean? I think he
yeah,
owns a few businesses out in Charlotte himself, as well as his daughter. But the more I think about it, okay, this guy, he's never truly had a fair chance. And in Indy, his fair chance was Carson Wentz. I mean, in Philly, his fair chance was Carson Wentz. You know what I mean? And Indy, his fair chance was Matt Ryan. You know what I mean? That Indy team that was good.
No, he brought Winston. He brought Winston in too. He brought his man with him.
He
But
had
that's what I'm
Winston.
He did
saying,
bring
like,
in
come
Wentz.
on, we
He did bring in Wentz.
we see
He could have brought in. He
first
could have
7
brought
weeks.
in Cam. He brought Wentz in.
Look, I'm saying though, like you see Carson Wentz in that Philly that the year that they went to the Super Bowl. I think he was balling before he went down. I think it was first 7 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But so he probably had high hopes. Okay, I didn't even get to see him finish the season. Why not bring him back with me? So I get that.
Hey, listen, man. As a Panther fan, I understand you thinking it's a decent hire. It's a terrible hire, and I'll tell you why. I understand why they did it, because they need a quarterback. So having an offensive-minded guy at the helm versus a defensive-minded guy will build a quarterback. But it looks like they're going to draft that kid out of Florida. It looks like he's
Richardson.
Listen, I'm a Gators fan. A lot of people don't know. He ain't it. He's not the answer. He makes worse decisions than everybody y'all had in the building last year. So, I mean, he's athletic.
Including Baker Mayfield?
Including Baker Mayfield.
Wow.
His decision, like, listen, I watch Gator football every time they play. Like he ended up, they ended up going to Emory Jones. Like they would split reps just because dude made bad decisions. He's athletic. He has a cannon. He reminds you of, for me, he reminds you of Marcus Vick. You know.
Okay. What?
But like, he's not a guy that you would build your franchise around. And Carolina's really good at getting really bad quarterbacks.
So my input on this, right? We're not building around a quarterback. Our team,
y'all definitely not. I don't know who y'all building around right now.
Into a great spot. We're throwing a Brock Purdy into a built team. You get what I'm? We're not a finished, completely built team at San Fran, but we have our foundation. Our foundation is our defense.
So if that being true, then why didn't you keep the defensive-minded guy? Well, so what I'm saying is I know what it looks like on paper, but what I'm saying is that the upper management wants to turn that thing around. Like they have hopes of this. We're going to bring in a quarterback guy who was a quarterback who is a guy, and we're going to get a quarterback and we're going to build our franchise.
Is it what Lamar saying? It was a nostalgia hire, not football related.
It is football related. So
a nostalgia hire that got Jake Delhomme
or Steve Smith.
What was wrong with Jake Delhomme?
What's wrong with him?
Come on, man.
What was wrong with him?
It would have been worse than what you're saying now. We got a coach that was there with the grassroots with this team being put together. He's been there. The guys love him, and he performed in the interim spot. Perform well for you, and that shows promise. Anybody you bring in that's unproven is 100% the wrong move. At least Frank Reich has led a team as a coordinator and as a head coach. It might have not been very successful how he led it, but at least we know
33-1.
I mean,
it's above 500, but that's not great,
right? Is that spectacular? Like, do you break? But look, no. But do you break up the momentum that you were building with Wilks in that locker room? And I mean, because remember, even the linebacker Burns, he got the best out of Burns, and Burns was about to get traded. He was on the block. He was supposed to leave right after CMC left.
Stop. No, he wasn't.
No. Well, it might have not been true, but the rumor was that they got rid of my man. They sent him to Arizona, the receiver Anderson. They got rid of Anderson. I like all these guys that was on the trade block: Anderson, Burns, CMC, and one other guy. All of them got sent out except Burns.
Only people that were up for trade was CMC, and the reason was we were too one-dimensional. I don't care if we were running the ball or throwing it 60 yards. Guess who was getting it at 60 yards? CMC. So he had to go. Burns was untouchable. Jeremy Chin, untouchable. J.C. Horn, untouchable. Derek Brown, untouchable. You know, all the young cats, DJ Moore, untouchable. You know what I'm saying? But there were talks in us getting rid of Shaq Thompson, our middle linebacker. Now that that would have hurt us drastically because he is the veteran vocal lead point on that team. He's the last of that team that went to the Super Bowl. Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Josh Norman, that team. He's the last of that team on the defense. So getting rid of him would have hurt a lot more. But what I'm saying about Frank Reich, it's not a bad hire. I don't care who you plug in right now. If our GM does the job we're supposed to do, which is draft well, I'll take anything over Matt Rule. We dealt with Matt Rule for 2 years.
I 100% agree. I take anything over Matt Rule.
That I have. Do you think that it's a transitional hire? That he's a placekeeper for the guy that y'all actually want?
No, I think we actually are going to try and keep him around as long as we did John Fox. You know what I'm saying? Because that's and of course it comes down to him having to perform well, get the team to rally behind him, get the team to buy in with whatever strategy he's gonna put forth. But until then, it's all speculation. You know what I mean? So we got to see.
Well, I will say this.
At first, I'm all for Steve. I put a post up today like that's our coach in my head. You know what I'm saying? I like Steve. I wanted Steve Wilks, but
that's why you got to get him out the building.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. And I told Chris,
I understand Carolina.
Put him on the staff. Yeah, put him on the staff. He was a defensive back coach the year we went to the Super Bowl, and then before he got pushed up to interim head coach, he was the defensive back coach as well. So it would make sense to, but don't bring him into the staff because I feel like that's selling him short. You deserve to be head coach somewhere. You know what I mean? You deserve to be head coach somewhere. So even though you're not coming to the staff, I just want the best for you. I hope he becomes head coach somewhere. Honestly, who needs a head coach right now? Houston? Go to Houston.
No, Houston ain't the place for black coaches.
The NFL.
But Houston been doing black coaches dirty for the last couple of years. Case in point, how they just did Lovie Smith. They got mad that he didn't want to tank the last game for the first pick. And
you think that's what happened for real? You think that's what it was?
No, that was part of it. That was part of it.
It was gone already, but you pronounced NFL wrong. It sounded like you said Houston, but I know you meant NFL, right? When you said they've been doing black coaches.
You heard NFL as a whole, yeah, but the NFL as a whole, yeah, but Houston has been like publicly. I mean, the whole NFL has too, but like Houston has just been prominent lately with.
But with somebody like Steve Wilks, I could turn that shit around. Part of my language, but I could turn that around.
Yeah. Houston, I just don't think Houston is where it's at for just black coaches. Stay away. Go to Arizona. Go to Arizona.
He's a defensive coach, right? He's a